We are so grateful to be supported by sponsors like our friends at Haney and Company. You know, we all know that in today's complex financial landscape, having a trusted advisor can make all the difference. Since 1960, Haney and Company has been providing comprehensive accounting services to a diverse range of clients, from small businesses to large corporations. With nearly 400 professionals across 13 locations, they offer services in tax, audit, business consulting, and client advisory. In fact, their commitment to excellence has earned them recognition from Accounting Today and Forbes magazines. At Haney and Company, though, it's not just about balancing books. It's about building lasting relationships based on trust and mutual growth. So visit HaneyCPAs.com. That's HaneyCPAs.com to learn how they can support your business's financial journey.
We are so grateful to be supported by these community champions: Sales MD, Team Friday, Realist Lab, Kiana Patterson, Diego Chavez, Jer Boucher, Heather Ryder, Janine Sua, Lily Roca, and Steve Kernan.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Friday, and it's another little edition of Stoppage Time, where I stop in here on a Friday to talk directly with you, share some of my thoughts about the most recent episodes that we dropped on our Entrepreneurial Thinkers podcast feed, as well as just talk to you about kind of things that are on my mind in the world at large, and maybe how it kind of all ties together. So this week we dropped an incredible episode that I really, really enjoyed, and having just listened back to it again as we dropped it in production, I just wow, what a conversation I got to have with arguably one of the most iconic Mexican-American entrepreneurial success stories in the last 20 years from the tech industry specifically. And that's Bismarck Lepe out of Silicon Valley, by way of family roots that are deep at Jalisco, in the Guadalajara area. His parents immigrated to the U.S. It's a classic American success story. His parents immigrated to the U.S. His dad was an immigrant field farm worker, which is obviously a huge story in the context of that community right here in our world in the United States right now, and specifically here in Southern California, more specifically here in Los Angeles, as you know, from some of my recent posts. But created a life for himself, right? His parents created a life opportunity for him and his brother. And then he's created a life for himself. He worked his way up to Stanford, from Stanford to Google, from Google to a couple of successfully exited startups, has made a huge impact everywhere he has gone. And that's really the theme of this week. It's this idea of doing good while doing good business. That's a mantra of mine. It's something I aspire to. I have not yet in my life ever achieved that at the scale or level of impact that someone like Bismarck has. But it's been a common theme in my life for a long time, and it is a theme in my mind this week. And I don't think there's a better episode to embody kind of what I believe in and what I believe is the ethos of our community here at Entrepreneurial Thinkers than this episode that I hope you enjoy with Bismarck. He reminds us in what they're tackling now in his current company, which is called MiSalud Health. He reminds us that there are certain things that should be considered just inalienable rights for humans. And one of those things is access to / affordability of great healthcare. So world-class healthcare for working class people. That's kind of the summation of what I believe is going on and what they're building at MiSalud as they try and tackle this $5 trillion American healthcare market. So it's a massive business opportunity, but it is also fundamentally a human societal level problem, right? And if we've learned nothing from recent conversations that I've had and we've shared with you all on the Entrepreneurial Thinkers show, it's that tackling the biggest of our most complex societal problems, healthcare in the United States, is definitely one of those. By meeting the people who need access to it, by meeting the people who need these fundamental services to be better, meeting them where they are, and doing that, meeting them where they are with a sense of cultural awareness about how they present themselves and where they come from and what informs their decisions, and doing that with empathy, That has been 100% the theme in our recent conversations, right? Nithya Raman, our city council person, in recent episode that we dropped last week, talks all about the fact that the future of Los Angeles is brighter than ever, but we're gonna get there by solving the problems of real, everyday, working class people on the streets of Los Angeles, by meeting them where they are and helping them understand how that they can partake and benefit from the government services that are available, and then how the government can better serve them, to better understand them as our citizens. So double down on that in this conversation with Bismarck, where he fundamentally just reintroduces us to what has been his business mantra for his entire career, which is this idea of doing good while doing good business. His companies, including, like, for example, Wiseline, which is probably one of the more well-known companies throughout Mexico and now the world, was one of the early innovators of creating economic opportunity for talented people, software developers and engineers in Mexico, in providing services and capabilities to companies and large organizations in the rest of the world. Right. And so that transformed the community of Guadalajara. It's turned Guadalajara into the Silicon Valley, so to speak, of Latin America, or of Mexico for sure. And now with what he and his team are doing in attacking this massive structural problem that we have in the United States of the inaccessibility and unaffordability of healthcare at a basic level, by leveraging, again, talented people who have skills in Mexico and elsewhere to provide these capabilities and services at more affordable costs, but as a high quality a level, is incredible. It's incredibly important. So super proud to have had that conversation with him. I hope you find it and enjoy it. If you haven't already subscribed, liked, followed us, please do that. Obviously, it helps us do what we do. But this theme of doing good while doing good business permeated itself into my life in a different way this week, when just a few days ago we found out that for the first time in the history of our small show community, we've lost one of our alumnus, one of our former guest alumnus, Ali Jamal, the general partner at investment fund First Check Ventures, passed away tragically and sadly, due to health circumstances at a young age. I don't even know for sure. I think Ali was maybe 40-ish. Maybe a little bit younger, right? I met him and we had a conversation back 2 years ago on our show in its previous branding version, when it was called Mentors Today. And that show is available in our Entrepreneurial Thinkers feed, the audio feeds. This is before the days when we used to do YouTube versions. So if you want to go back and listen to Ali's story in his own words, I can tell you that I re-listened to it last night as I was out on my walk. And although tinged with some sadness, obviously, for thinking about the stories that he was sharing with me and the aspirations that he had and the vision that he had for both his life and his business going forward. At one point I asked him a question, and this was again framed in 2023. I asked him a question about where his life would be and where his business would be in 2030. And to listen last night in his own words and think that he will not get to see that manifestation of his life, that he won't be here in 2030, was sad, obviously. But man, honestly, I had a smile the entire time I listened to it, because I thought, what a gift to have lived such a full life as this young man did. And I encourage you, go back and listen to the episode. It's episode 94, Ali, A-L-I, Jamal, J-A-M-A-L. If you go into our Entrepreneurial Thinkers audio channel feeds, no matter where you listen to your podcast, you can look it up and find it under the Entrepreneurial Thinkers banner, and enjoy it, because he lived a full life. He lived an ambitious life. He lived a helpful life. And the fundamental theme, and he actually says it in the last 10 minutes of the episode, that he never really was completely focused on making money as much as he was focused on trying to help people and do good, and how he met people throughout his journey from, in his case, a small town, rural town in northern Minnesota, to also Stanford, but then Stanford to huge companies, the biggest, brandest name companies of the era in Asia and then in Latin America, the hottest tech companies that he was a part of before he started his own investment fund and then began investing in the hottest tech companies that were coming up in Latin America and around the world. His whole purpose was rooted in just trying to do good for other people while also doing good business. And so I thought, wow, what an amazing bookend to have for me as I am navigating the building of our own business and trying to figure out and build the sustainable business model that is going to have us build the Storytellers Company to continue to allow me and Deanna and our team and new people that will join our team in future years to do what we love to do, which is to tell the stories of other people, good people, to tell really good stories of other good people, to try and leave this world a little bit better than we found it, right? And to be able to make a living doing that so that we can keep showing up every day, we can creatively expand our minds, and we can open our ideas to more people, and we can expose it to more audiences, and we can eventually create content in other ways, right? Books, television, all the kinds of different things. Or now, as we're building the studio side of our business, which is really going to be the foundational business model for us, we have figured out now, where we will be hired our team to do what we do well for ourselves in our own shows, but to help other people to ideate, to create, to direct, to produce, to manage, to deliver, and even sometimes occasionally for me to host other brands, companies, organizations, shows, so we can help them tell their stories of their community and to the world in the best possible ways, which humbly we're getting pretty good at. So it was just this idea of trying to do good while doing good business, hearing it from Ali, God bless him, God rest his soul, hearing it from Bismarck in the context of them tackling arguably the biggest problem that we face industrially in the United States right now, which is our terribly broken, messed up healthcare system. And just thinking about that, you know, as we're going through a lot here in Los Angeles right now with our kind of federal law enforcement attacks on our immigrant communities, to think about the fact that, you know, Ali was an immigrant to the communities that he eventually thrived in Latin America. He talks about how he felt like Latin America kind of adopted him. Bismarck's family, his parents literally came, his dad worked the fields. His dad was an immigrant field worker, laborer here in Southern California, like the people you're seeing chased across fields in some of those same geographic fields in the part of Southern California that Bismarck grew up in. Like his family did that to create opportunities for him, which then he has seized upon, and now he is turning around while building wildly successful businesses, is also changing people's lives. And so if it was ever a reminder to me of both the importance of the work that we do here, and we are grateful for you listening, we're grateful for all of our sponsors that support us, but also just the importance of these entrepreneurial thinkers and I'm going to hammer on this thesis for the rest of my life, right? That our world needs entrepreneurial thinkers. It needs people who are going to think openly, who are going to think empathetically, who are going to think about the user / consumer / citizens, about our neighbors. Like, we need people in government like Nithya Raman. We need innovative product builders like Sarah Hicks on her recent episode. We need people who are thinking of bridging the gaps between continents and cultures like Thomas Logstrup Reeves and the representation of the Nordic countries in Denmark and Southern California and the United States as far as business opportunities are concerned. We need the Bismarck Lepes. And God rest him, you know, the world needed Ali Jamal and everything that he has left with us. So, be a little bit more empathetic as you head out into your work week this week. Be a little bit more curious, be a little bit more open-minded, meet your community, your clients, your constituency, your neighbors, whoever it is and whatever it is you're doing on your daily basis. Meet them where they are and meet them with an open heart and an open mind. And I think if we do that all more regularly, both in our business and in our leadership lives and in our politics, we inevitably can't lose in our pursuit of trying to leave this world a little bit better place than we found it. Love you. Peace. We'll see you next week.
We are so grateful to be supported by sponsors like our friends at eSudo. You know, running any business, but especially a law firm, means balancing a lot. And technology, frankly, shouldn't be a headache. eSudo makes information technology and cybersecurity simple for law firms large or small. With over 20 years of experience, they specialize in everything from Microsoft 365 management to advanced cybersecurity solutions. They help you to stay ahead of threats, manage your data securely, and keep your tech running smoothly so that you can focus on what matters most, your clients. eSudo understands the legal industry's unique needs, offering tailored solutions to ensure that your firm is always in compliance and always protected. Are you ready to upgrade your firm's technology or get help with your questions? Visit esudo.com.